But but that's exactly to the point I was making about realizing what I need to teach people is, and I kind of had this mindset, which was like, well, there isn't any videos for Instagram, right? To learn Instagram, people just go on with it. But we also don't remember what Instagram looked like when it had 10,000 users, right? Not 10 million, because that was a long time ago. But what I'm recognizing is and a lot of this isn't actually software. It's just video content, training content, communication of what's possible. So that's going to be a shift of my focus for the next little while. And I'm going to make it into a deck, but it'll because why not, right? But with videos and images and stuff. But I'm just going to start off with the basics of because it surprised me the number of people who actually think Deckable should run in their browser. People didn't realize it was an app. And
that it was a web app.
Right. There's also creators who've kind of not realized that, which is totally fine. It's just, but it's interesting because I didn't think to emphasize that, because I only ever was building a mobile app, right? So but if you don't ask questions, you don't know what people are not understanding. So that's, it's basically made me realize we're really starting from zero. That's absolutely perfect. At least I know what to do. I don't need to think about advanced things. I need to think about the basics.
The basics. I actually wonder, Nick, I've been thinking about this since the last meeting you had. I wonder if that could be crowdsourced, and you have some of the deck creators who have figured out how to do things super easily, like do tutorials and post them, so you don't have to carry on that.
That would be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing. If you want to lead the charge, I will share.
Yeah, I'd be happy to, but I need a forum to be able to chat with folks.
Okay, all right, cool. Well, that is so. Before we did start off on Slack. Slack got crazy expensive. I didn't actually fully research it. It was someone suggested we did Slack, so I said okay, sure. And then I dived in, and then I got after the first 3 months, I realized I had to pay like $7 per month per member. So that's brutal, because people could just turn up once in their life and never return, right? So so I had to close that off. I have created another forum mechanic, I haven't had time to actually populate it in any which way. And I also feel like I should do a bit more diligence, having gone from WhatsApp to Slack to now something else. I need to make sure that I'm confident that this thing that I've picked, because I haven't spent the largest amount of time on it, but
Discourse, right?
It's good. Discourse was the thing I mentioned, yeah. But there's also Discord, which is very popular amongst gamers.
Yes, I'm on it right now for something else, and I'm like constantly lost in it. But
I don't like it.
Chatting,
right? I don't understand why. I have not figured out why it's so successful, but it is. So Discourse is actually configured. I just need to populate it with things, right? And I used Discord before when I was at Listly, so that was kind of the main reason to pick it. I didn't love it then, but I didn't hate it. And I don't these things. I don't think that any of these platforms are really, really nice, or they maybe end up being super expensive, right? So you have to be very careful of that. So I want to get Discord up and running. Because then I know I can ask the crowd, and the crowd can step in and participate, because there will be, there's a standard 1-9-90 rule of the internet. There's 1% of people create, 9% of people contribute, and 90% of people just consume, right? So I need to find the 1% and the 9% amongst the 600 creators.
I'll seriously help you with that, Nick.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Therefore I will share Discourse with you as it is in its rough and ready form.
Okay.
So you can, and I don't mind having a call with you to because I haven't really thought it through, but I know I need to. And so for nothing else, I would just go to look at what we did at Listly, because I'll assume that's now the best working model and then mirror that. But I'm totally open to anything that works. So thank you. That would be fantastic.
Happy to.
Okay. Awesome. Yes. Yeah. So definitely that's kind of what's what. The other thing that I've been pondering various things. One thing I've been pondering is something I'm calling 5 Friends Friday. And I've decided this is for later, because we need to get certain things resolved first. I'll tell you what it is, and then I'll tell you what we're going to replace that with in the interim. So 5 Friends Friday is every Friday, anyone who's on Deckable gets 5 invites to invite 5 friends who are not on Deckable already. And those people will get a deck of their choice, a free deck on Deckable, right? And creators can choose to opt in or out of that pool. And we're not going to make all the decks free at any point in time. It'll be, there may be 30 decks that we might offer, but it's a real offer because these are real decks, and we'll try and curate. There's some business decks and some coaching decks and some divination decks, right? And the methodology and the science behind that is very simple. It's not about the person who gets the free deck now. It's purely about getting to 100,000 users on Deckable. That'll get us to 1 million users on Deckable. And then when we do things with that audience size, we've got a very different kind of basis, right? So 5 Friends Friday, when we've resolved any friction with new people turning up and getting going and journaling and drawing cards, we will implement 5 Friends Friday. I was going to do that straight away, and I just realized it's too much. We're not ready for that, right? So what we're going to do, because 5 Friends Friday was going to be kind of coupon based anyway, we're going to implement coupons for your decks. So and basically we're going to put a price tag on a coupon, and you can, there's a bunch of people who I know who are running like masterminds, and they've got like 30 people in their mastermind, and they want everyone in the mastermind to have the deck, right? So we're going to put a price tag on it, maybe $1 a deck or something, to buy a coupon, and then you can give away the deck. You can give away that coupon to a friend or to a customer. Often it's more customers we're talking about. And the cool thing about this is, I think not everyone will jump on. We might get 50 creators doing that out of all of them, but those will actually look after those 50 people who came on board. And I'm here to listen to everything that's said by all of you and respond intelligently to do the right thing for the product, right? So I'm trying to do my best not to be defensive. And I think I'm doing a pretty good job, but it's hard not to sometimes. But I think we absolutely have a wonderful idea. We just have to bring people to it and educate them on it, right? So the Deckable experience is amazing if we can get people to their wow moment, right? When people start playing with cards for real, and they go, oh, and this is like, I was on a call 2 days ago with one of our creators, and he hadn't seen. I'll show you the card sorting. I'll give you a card sorting demo in a minute. And he was he's a lecturer, a professor, and he was teaching. He has this physics deck that's really cool, and he was literally squealing with excitement about how fun this was to be able to move the cards around to add them, and it is, right? And so we need to get people to that moment. And then when we get them to that moment, they're going to become just as big of fans as the creators are, because the creators are super. I mean, I have calls with everyone's bouncing up and down with excitement. We have some really cool people are coming on board. We just, I won't say a name, but this is the biggest name in grief and death. The biggest author has just coming to Deckable with a deck, right? So that's pretty darn exciting. And she came to us. I didn't reach out to her. And we also have had the biggest decks that are on TikTok. That publishers just come to us and they're loading their decks now, right? So things are happening. It's all the good stuff is happening, but I don't want to get carried away by that. That makes me feel good. I want to get carried away by what's wrong. Where's the friction, right? And I always think of software like this. There's a river, and this is the level of the water, and there's a rock sticking out. We remove the rock, the river flows smoothly. And then you lower the water, new rock appears. Remove that rock, lower the water. And that's really what we're doing with Deckable is removing friction, so that people who don't know what it is turn up and can get it more quickly than they are. And the creators get it, no problem. But it's just, we need to turn this into 1 million users, and that's just accepting that is the way these things roll out. Like, when Pinterest got going, Pinterest wasn't some like overnight success. They did a lot of scrapbooking events in the Midwest, right? That's how they built their groundswell movement, right? Everyone you now see is super successful started somewhere. Like Facebook, we all know, started in Harvard, right? And all these different things happen, right? Everyone has their story. So I think we have this amazing community of creators, and they all have their circle around them. So if look after the creators, give the creators the tools to look after their people, grab all that feedback, fix everything that's a common thread, and then we're in a great shape to move forward, right? And all the time we're doing this, we're acquiring new decks and new people. So that is kind of the mindset and the strategy. Let me just grab my tablet. So, I'm more than happy to answer specific questions if anyone has them, or I can, wrong cable, just a minute.
I have a specific one, and it might just be a yes/no answer.
Yeah, sure.
Is there any basic demo video out there already on how Deckable works for the user?
That's a really good question, and there probably isn't, because everything I've done has been about
for the creators,
right? And I think this, I don't know why it caught me by surprise. I think it's because supporting this many creators is like a full-time task. So when it was like, let's get to launch, and we get to launch, I'm like, oh my god, the consumer. and it's not surprising, but it's just. So yeah, that's top of my list, is to basically make a handful of those videos that are just little short. This is how you do the home screen. This is how you do a free form card sort.
Okay.
Yeah, do them short, because then you can go straight to the one that you're struggling with, right?
Okay.
And then we'll iterate on those. And once we found that they're effective, I'm going to assemble those into a card deck, which is basically a feature inside Deckable of every, this is how you do a card sort, this is how you do a spread, etc. Right? So,
great, thank you. That'll be exciting and nice to be able to send the link.
Yeah, that's my task for the next little while, to make those, and also to Tracy's comment, to work with the creators to make them, because I actually think it has more validity when it's from a range of people making those videos, right? So I had a conversation last night with Aisha, Aisha Hilton, who's based in Australia, and various other people I know want to participate in that. So it makes a lot of sense to me. Okay, so let's have a look. So here's Deckable on my tablet. And I just also, people don't necessarily realize, I've just plugged my tablet into my computer, right? And then from Zoom, I can choose to share via cable my iPad or my iPhone, right? And it's because people have asked me, oh, how do I use this in Zoom? And this is literally all you do, right? And I don't know if you know how to record a video from your iPhone, but it's really simple. And you can literally record what's happening on the screen as you play with it. And that's how I'll make these videos. And if you didn't know how to do that, if you just Google it, it's probably quicker to read a Google post than me trying to explain it. But yeah, that's a great feature or tool set to have to be able to record videos. Okay. All right, so let's do, I'm going to do a freeform card sort. So I'm going to use Values Jam as a deck. And you may or may not know this, but this 1, 2, or 3 gives you a random 1, 2, or 3 cards straight onto the desktop. And that's actually exactly the same as this, where you do a freeform sort, but you have to pick the cards, right? I don't know if you realize that. So I'm just going to pick 3. Well, I won't pick any cards. I'll just do this. So here we are. It shuffles the deck for me. When I'm done, I influence the shuffle because I can stop it at any point. And now I can go through these and choose the things that I think speak to me, right? So I could, do. I'm basically doing a kind of card sort, right? And now I can pop that away and work with these cards, and I can literally, I don't know if you know this, but I'm sure you know this. I'm just pinching and zooming and rotating, and so I can arrange those. And now if I come back out of my timeline, come back to my timeline, there's my post with those cards, right? I can go back in and I re-look at this and I think, I've got to prioritize. This is too many things. I can actually just drop that. If I drag I've got my finger on there and I drag it over the red line. You see how it goes bright red? And I let go and it's removed the card, right? So that's nice and simple. But if I want to add more cards, I can do that. Just choose the deck again and say, I'm going to add ambition. And I'm going to get rid of innovation, right? But what's even cooler than that is I can just go to this deck selector here. And if I want to, I can just flip all those cards over and I can choose from a different deck. Right? So I've mixed and matched cards from more than one deck at this point. And if I close that down.
Does that flip feature work? Because for some reason it never works for me.
Okay, so I'll show you how it works. The default mode is flip or focus. And if it's on focus, which it is right now, I click on generosity and it pops up the full info screen. And it lets me choose between the sides of the cards. And if there's a description for each card, it's below here. So I can scroll down. And if I have an audio or video on this card, there'll be a third tab on here. I'll show you that in a minute, but there will be, then you can play the audio or watch the video attached with the card, right? That's focus mode because it's just one card at a time. If I choose to flip, and I now touch the cards individually, I flip them.
Okay, because I think that's exactly it. I would expect when you click flip, it flips the cards. You don't actually have to go touch them.
Okay, well then that's what the flip all button is.
So with the flip all button, if your cards are at the bottom, it flips all the cards at the bottom.
It does, yeah.
Which is counterintuitive to me because I don't know why you'd want to see the entire deck.
Well, this one, yeah, you mean the fact that it's flipping what's on here and what's below?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. It's all coordinated, but it's a little bit too coordinated perhaps in that moment. Yeah, I feel that this flip down here should not change these here.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Let me just go. Oops.
You can get rid of those things on the bottom, and then you're only flipping the things on the top.
Right. Well, and also at the bottom, when you've got this flip, you're flipping the whole deck, right?
Right.
So it's just showing you the cards from the deck on the
bottom, right? So it could be that you want to pull a card from the deck that's on the bottom and bring it up, right? And just kind of randomly select it.
Right.
But when they all flip, then you see.
Right. I think you're right. I was kind of surprised by that. Or question, like a lot of these things we question which is the right default behavior.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which is more intuitive, and also maybe flip all should be next to focus and flip, because they're kind of related. And then in case you didn't know this, I'll go back to the deck. Okay, I'll go back in there. And if I search, no, just another thing. I want to flip the deck, and I'm going to choose this deck, and this deck is has got tags, right? So I don't know if you've used this, but this little kind of tuner icon there lets you pick tags. So I could pick all the emotion cards, or all the awareness cards, or the compassion cards, and that dynamically changes the cards below, as well as if I that's, have to be careful, that's got a filter. You can see the little purple dot there that to tell you the filter is active. So I can remove the filter. And if I now search for here, emotion, I find the card, right? So
yeah,
it's,
so you could like tag it by suit or something like that, right?
yeah, exactly, right. It is tagged by suit. Yeah, exactly. And if you, these tags are the suits within the deck, right?
Oh, I see. Okay.
So then I've set the filter, and now I can choose cards from there. So the other thing that, I don't know if you've seen, this deck has got an audio track for each card. So I'm just going to pick a card at random, and I'm going to flip over my card. I pick trust, and I slide over to the third.
Trust. Trust in yourself. Trust in your tender heart. Trust in your power, and trust in the power that is bigger than you. Offer trust. And be willing.
So this deck has got an individual recording for each card.
So cool.
All right, it's simple, it's clean,
So cool.
short in and out. You don't want minutes of content there, just a soundbite. Because if you want to meditate to that card, you've just listened to the setup, right? You've just got the framing set. And then if I meditate below, if I just choose meditate, and I just if I shorten it down to this, I just do a 15-second meditation, and it pings me to begin, and then it counts down 15 seconds. I mean, it could be 10 minutes, it doesn't matter. And then it's basically saved this card to my timeline, and I can then journal on my timeline entry of everything that I thought about. That there's my card, right? So it's really simple to do that, and very effective. And that's just how, if there was a video in there. So I think there's a video on this deck. I'm not sure. No, there isn't. I'm trying to think which decks have got videos. And one of the things I strongly recommend is having a video with your deck, right? It's really, it's not very, no. Okay. So if you have a video with your deck, it comes up. I think, did you have one?
I don't have a video. I had
Oh,
an
okay.
audio, but it didn't
Right.
work.
Oh, there's an audio track, exactly, right? So
That's what I was wondering. Does it come up in the preview?
it doesn't come up in the oh yeah, it comes up on the deck info before you bought the deck, right? So if you have a video, it comes as the last button, and it's possible we should move that to the front, to the first button. Just depends if you've got one, right? So, I mean, these are the kind of little bits of feedback. I don't know which is the right decision there. It's just at the end because that's where it went, but maybe it should be at the beginning, right? So, and then so there I've shown you the card sort where you can add and remove cards, and that's just, to me, it's a wonderful decision-making tool. You know, you're prioritizing, ranking. You could work as a team and each make your own decisions, right? So it's a very fun. And then obviously on top of that, you can just journal on that, and you've got that information saved away forever, and you can return to your timeline. So that's, and then I don't know, for those who maybe you haven't done spreads, but if you come down here, if you pick a spread, you just got the labels on each card, and then you can choose. And now I can flip all those cards over, or I could do it blind. I can shuffle the deck again if I want. And now I pick the cards in here. And then I can reveal that. And if I flip them all over, I can focus on each one individually. And below, if I scroll down, this is below it is the description of the card, the description, the question, and the description from the card's location in the spread. I don't know if you know, has anyone here created custom spreads? Do you want me to show that in Deckable, how you actually do that? Do you want me to show that? Is that
Yes.
valuable?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, if I go to Deckable, oh, I'm low battery. Too many cables, not enough power.
Hey Nick, I know while you're getting your cables sorted, I've just gone onto my phone just to play with it while you're playing so I can see what was going on.
Yeah.
I had to download my deck again, and it seems like
Right.
every time I go into it, I have to download it. I don't know if it's me, probably.
I don't think so.
Hmm.
It shouldn't be. So one of the things we did add in this release.
I tried out that feature where you re-download a deck basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was a little wonky. It took a while and it like just stopped halfway.
Oh, really?
And then, yeah, and I had like full signal and everything, so there's no reason
Oh,
on my end it should have done that. But then I was like, okay, I'll figure it out tomorrow. And then tomorrow or the next day it was like fully loaded, but it was odd. There was like some sort of
I mean, I don't, well, I mean, so this is the feature. It's basically when you've downloaded a deck to your phone, there's now a remove from downloads, which is just a total mirror of what Audible has. And if I remove it, it's removed that deck from my phone, but I can still download it again.
But that's the thing. I don't want to. Yeah, I sat
No,
here-
no. But I was just. I don't think you're. So I'm curious if. Do you have the latest? You have the latest version of the app running?
I don't know actually. How do I find that out on Android?
That's a good question. Well, I would just go to the Deckable page on Android, the Android page.
Okay.
In the Play Store, and it will.
Tell me
Yeah, and then you can download the
latest.
the
'Cause
latest.
that's another thing is, my deck's 78 cards plus all the
Right.
meaning.
Yeah, no, that should
Okay.
and this is something that we've been ironing out because we've wanted to manage these deletions and updates much better, but we haven't been doing that. We haven't done as much of work on that as we should, and so we focus. So in this release, it now lets you manually delete them, because if you'd updated your deck before, you had to delete
Yes.
and then reload everything, right? So I would check if you've got the latest, because I'm not sure Android updates you automatically. So if you go to the Google Play Store for Deckable on your Android,
Yes.
then it'll show you if you need to download the latest version or not.
It just says here of 1.0.4 is the latest.
Okay. Doesn't say update it? You've got that?
Yeah, doesn't say it. So I've done it again now anyway, so we'll see.
Okay, no, keep me posted. If that's
Right.
happening all the time, that is not meant to be. So that's some kind of issue.
Okay, thank you.
I've not seen that, but that doesn't mean it's not happening, and it could be specific to Android. So I can go check that. Yeah, but we've with this deletion, we now you can delete a deck. We were I think at one point we were updating things too frequently, that was possibly causing what's happening to you. If so, we definitely need to get better at that. So keep me posted if that's not resolved. I'll check it out here as well. See if it happens to me on Android. Yeah. So, and then we're also we think we can dramatically speed up the downloads. And that matters a lot for bigger decks, right? So we're working on something right now to try and see if we can do that. And we think we can, like, take it down from like 2 minutes to like 16 seconds or something. So then you won't even notice that it's retabbing again. But it doesn't. Not that we need to resolve both the non-repetitive downloading and the speed, I think. So okay, I was going to show you that. Yeah, I was going to show you how to create the custom spreads. So I'm just going to go to a deck that's created on here. So I'll just go to this play one I was playing, this one. So if I view the deck, and I can see I've got 5 custom spreads, and I'm sure you know this, but if you create a spread, you need to make it, include it in your selected spreads. So if you go to selected spreads and you can choose the spreads that you want to be included, and then you just update the deck, and then you'll see at the top here, it's got the 4 selected spreads now. If I go to custom spreads for this deck, here they are, and I can just create a new spread, and I'll just call this 3-card sample. And now, let me just shrink this down. So here's the cards, and if I click on the card, you see you get these handlebars, and you can shrink them down and rotate them and do however you want to arrange the cards, right? And then over here, the label is the label that appears on the card. So this is, I'm just going to call this one A, B, and C. And then you put in, and if you have the label, you'll see below it's A, B, and C, right? And then when you go into the spread in Deckable, the question and the description come up when you've completed the spread, and it explains the spread to you. So that's how you kind of manage a spread in Deckable. So it's very, very simple, and every spread that we have in Deckable was made using this, right? So the 9 or so spreads that we have, and you can actually you can export and import a spread, so it just saves your spread to a file, and then you can reload it. So because when you go to arrange something as complicated as the Zodiac spread, it can take you a fair bit of time, like just tweaking it and making it all look right. Does that make sense to everyone? Is that? So
Yep.
That's pretty simple, and that's basically how you do that. And that's really, oh, I know what I was going to show you. Let me just close this down. There we go. Decks purchased. So if I pick so I'm going to pick this deck, and I view this deck, and so once you're in here, once your deck is published, there's a promote and share button. And so this is pretty powerful and pretty simple. And the reason I made this was because I was spending way too much time kind of grabbing card images to try and promote decks. And I figured if I was doing that, then so were you. And so basically that's what this does, is it comes in one card up to 3 faces. So that's the back of the card, the guide, in this case, the guidebook, and the front of the card, right? So I can also choose front and back of box. And these I can actually, you know, organize a little bit, right? So I can still move these around. And at any point, I just hover over the image and I right click and I can copy the image or save the image as. So then that gives you an instant piece of content to share via Facebook, Instagram, wherever you want to share it. And then we also do the box with 5 cards.
Oh,
And
that's so awesome.
And you can do box with the guidebook. You know, so you got that choice, right? And you got 2 cards or 3 cards or 4 cards. And the coolest piece is if you create spreads with your deck, it randomly picks one of the spreads from your deck and lays the cards out according to that. Okay.
That is really cool. I can't wait till my deck works and I can make it work that way.
Yeah, it's really simple, and I think it's only going to get better. So if you have a crazy idea for something I should put in here for a spread, let me know and see if we can create that. But literally, because you can create your own custom spreads, right? Your spreads will appear in here. So
yeah.
So
right.
I created, oh, I created a couple of them. So
But they have to be selected. So if you've selected them with your deck. Do you want me to, what's your, I forget your deck's name, Tracy, I can look for it and show you here.
Oh, Creative Core.
Yeah, I know what it looks like. I just can't think of it. So
So you
There
just
it is.
keep hitting spread.
I got it. So if I look at promote and share here, you've got 4 spreads, right? So here's your deck. I love your deck. It's very cool.
Thank you.
So there's the front and back of the card, the front and back of box and 5 cards, 2 cards.
I can't imagine. You're like saving me so much time with this.
Yeah, well,
It's amazing.
The thing is, if people don't, if I expect you to go and do all this, you won't, right? Whereas this is so rewarding to do it. You know, like I found myself getting stuck choosing the cards, and then I get stuck laying them out. So like it takes all that away from you and you just go, right? Mm-hmm. And then if you pick a spread, I don't know what spreads you've created. It's going to keep, oh yeah, there's the 3-card spread, right? Yeah. So you have absolute control because you can go and design the spread and then create those images in here, right? So
yeah, and the
okay, I see that's awesome. See, I'm definitely counter rigid spreads that are all vertical. They need to be a little bit messy, right? That looks beautiful.
Yes, lovely.
So
I could do a tutorial on how to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be
Right.
great.
And one of the things that's going to happen is I'm probably going to so the deck info page has up to 10 images on it. But right now the deck info page, every image is a single card on a single face. We're probably going to replace the deck info page with these images. So then, because this is such a time saver, it makes your deck look so good, right? And when I compare the deck info page to like Audible, I think the information we have on each deck is better than Audible has on each book, right? And across hundreds of creators, it looks consistent. So, and I think that's really important. So yeah, it's coming together.
So how come she has so few items on the left-hand side? She's got very few there, but you.
It depends how many sides you've got.
and I still haven't figured out the guidebook thing. So.
It depends how many sides. Like if you have like multiple faces of your deck, you end up with more options.
Ah, okay.
So and eventually we'll make that menu more intelligent and tidier. So there's a drop down to pick the sides. I just did this like quick and dirty because it's I'm iterating on it as I get feedback, and then I can make it look, like simple and powerful later. But the biggest win was getting these images laid out looking like this, right?
Yeah, that's great.
It's like you share that, it looks just, you can't go, it doesn't matter whether you were actually the designer of your deck or not, because a lot of people aren't. It's laid out to look aesthetically pleasing. So, and I think there's something intriguing about Deckable when you visually have cards of a different size. Because we're used to seeing decks where all the cards are regular, right? But when you make some smaller and bigger in a spread, it has a visual, like, how do they do that? Wow, what deck is that, right? It just looks, I think it looks more interesting. So, yeah, I think that's everything I can think of I need to show you right now. I mean, one of the things we're also working on is something called a share club, where basically you can get together with, 4 or 5 other creators whose work you like, and we basically changed the community page recently to being genre specific. So if you like your genre, you can go and find that. You can now easily go and find the other creators who have work in the same genre. You could reach out to them, share their deck, have them share your deck, and collaborate and promote each other, right? Telling an Oracle person to share a business deck doesn't make so much sense. But if you make friends with people who have the same type of deck as you can all help each other, right? So.
And do you have to buy those decks, or can you just share them, or how does that work?
You can share them right now, and we're gonna make that easier, because I've got to be careful. I can't give everyone access to that promote and share screen, because if you were to dig beneath the page, you can get to the artwork, and that doesn't matter for you because it's your artwork. But I have to be careful of that. So in the app, the artwork is very secure, right? So I'm trying to make, I have to think my way through that. But once you go to promote and share, you're going to be able to save the images that you like, and then those will be publicly available to anyone to share.
That's how that works. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm very open to ideas. I have a ton of my own, but I'm now spending more time listening to other people and solving the things you think are most annoying or, time consuming, because that's kind of making it better for everyone, right? So, how are you all feeling about where Deckable is? What's your thoughts? What do you think's missing? What do you think we need to do? I'm very open to hearing all of that.
Do you think you could do something on a desktop?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we will. We've had a desktop prototype for a while, so we technically know how to do it, and basically, technically the app is written in something called Flutter, which is from Google. It's a software way of developing software. It's a software language and a whole approach, and we can actually use the app in the browser, and we've run it, and it works great. There are certain things we need to change for the browser, because you can't do this in a browser, right? So you have to switch everything to being keyboard and mouse driven. Right. So, you need next buttons left and right instead of that, right? So we have to do that amount of work. It's not a lot of work, quite honestly, I don't think. Whenever we say that, it always ends up being more work than we think it is, but it's not it's not hundreds of days, it's 5 days, so it might end up being 10 days or something, right? And we've done the design work, we've done all of the UX design, how to make what the desktop should look like, so we know what we're designing. We just haven't hit the button and said, let's do this. And I think that will help, right? Because people are thinking that it's a desktop. Some people are just thinking it's a desktop product, but one has to be careful with software. You don't just go after chase everything, because then you end up unfocused and you end up, doing too many things. So I think I want to
seems
solve
like it's like two different ways to funnel in buyers, though.
I mean, I'm a fan of doing it. So, which probably means we will, but I just have to decide. I have to decide, is it this month? Is it right now? Like I have a bundle of things that I've asked development to do, or I'm going to ask development to do for the next, wave of things. I can tell you what those are. A lot of people have asked, they want to do spreads where people, like you have a deck which is tagged by suit, and they want to pick randomly one card from each suit, right? It's a very much coaching orientated thing, I think, as much as it is spiritual. I have probably 40 people at least that have asked for it. And we haven't done it because it was kind of challenging. Not coding challenge, but UX, user experience challenging. And we come up with two ways to do it. So one way to do it is from the timeline, from when you create a spread. There's this quick draw right now. There's like 1, 2, or 3 cards. We're thinking of adding an option called multi-draw, which basically lets you pick 1, 2, or 3 cards from each category, right? So that I think would work. The other thing we could do is from the spread screen, we could just have quick draw, and it fills in the spread for you without just randomly. And if you do that, that takes away the UX problem, because if I have a particular card in my hand and I'm trying to drop it into a space in the spread that's not meant to receive that card, we have to then tell people they can't do it, and they're going to misunderstand what it is. So that's why it's UX. The user experience is hard to design. But if we fill the spread for you based on the tags, because you can tag each card, the locations in the spread with tags that match. So so those two solutions work. And
so that's like a way you want to use your deck, basically, or a way you might recommend somebody uses it is pick one from each suit or whatever, right? And then they would, okay.
And there's a lot of, and all the people who want that right now have to tell and it's not really that hard. It's just not one button, right? Because you can go in and filter, pick a card, filter, pick a card, filter, pick a card, right? But we live in the Instagram goldfish bowl age where people want one click and straight to it. So, and it's 40 plus people that want it. So it's not like and they've all been super patient, because I've had this known as an issue for quite a while now, and we haven't done it because it was not obvious how to do it. But now I have 2 solutions that work, and I think I'm just going to implement both of them because they're not hard. They're not hard engineering wise, and they're not hard user experience wise.
So is it possible, because I'm one of those people,
yeah,
like that. So could you do that once, and then could you have an ability to touch something and it lays another set of 3 cards in that same suit order, so you can build on the first spread to see how it's amplified?
Well, you could build on the spread by adding cards to it. That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that, to add another quick draw from the card, the tray at the bottom of the screen with all those new options.
So your original 3 show, and then you're just laying, again, just the backs, and can turn over whichever you want in whatever order.
Right.
I think about that because when I use decks, I do that a lot. I do a spread, and then I overlay that spread because I want to know more depth of what's going on.
Okay. That sounds a little bit. Yeah,
Throwing it out.
I think,
If I-
no, I
if
think
can
my,
get
right
the-
now, given it's taken us this long and I've listened and gathered all this, now that I have two solutions, I think we'll do those
First.
first, because if we have those, other things will emerge, as you've just suggested, right? So,
That'll be great.
yeah,
That'd be great.
I
I
think
don't
so.
know how, how hard it is to do those things. So that's why I just thought, I'm gonna talk
Right.
about this now.
Yeah, no, I can see that. The other thing that we're planning to do is, because I think the way I think of a spread is scaffolding. It's like, you create this complicated structure and you put scaffolding around it. And now you've made the spread. You don't need to keep it in the scaffolding. You can take the scaffolding away and move the cards, pinch and zoom them, flip, do things, just go free form. So basically we're gonna add an unlock feature that lets you unlock your spread and make it, it turns your spread into a free form selection. And then you can do whatever you want with it from there.
Okay.
So I think those are my top things. There's a couple of bugs to fix, but we're trying to speed things up. That's my top immediate things. And once we get the videos sorted, and once we have a clear idea of what people need, we will build some of that into Deckable. But it's expensive to build onboarding tips into the app if you're not sure what the onboarding tips should be. So I'm not racing to do that at this point. So, James, how are you feeling about things?
I'm good. I think it's looking good. Had a couple. I've got a short list of questions, but perhaps I could just ask a couple of those.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
So I was unable to purchase in app on Android. It directs me through to the website to log in again. That's a known thing, I'm presuming.
Basically unfortunately, we discovered this quite late in the game, that basically Android only lets you price in your local currency. So we can only, because we're Canadian, we'd have to let everyone set up Canadian dollar prices for their deck. And that's just too much complexity. So at some point we need to set up a US operation. And we don't know for a fact if Google will let us do that right now, or whether Google is very, very lax. Apple is like, stringent police. You can't do anything on Apple without validation. Google's like, the bouncer at a nightclub that lets everyone in, right? So they don't have any of that. But so I haven't tried to basically say that I'm American or in an American currency. But I asked the support this question, and they said, "Oh, just create another account and choose with a different email, and then move your app to that." So we have to check that out, and if that happens, then we can do in-app purchases on Android. But for right now, it basically sends you to deckable.com. Correct.
Is there a short hack in there to kind of create a token from the app that takes you and logs you straight into the website? Because otherwise you kind of logged in on the app and then you bounce to the website and you're not logged in there.
Ooh, okay,
Good idea.
that's a good idea. Okay, that is a good idea.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll wait for that to come. The guidebook, I'm a bit confused by that term. I've got 6 cards. I don't know whether I selected them myself or whether you did, or whether it's just picking them at random. But I've got 6 cards in the guidebook. I don't know what the guidebook is, and I don't know how to change them.
Okay, so basically, the guidebook was previously known as just the no shuffle cards, which is just the explainer cards. If normally people have, these are the cards you use to do whatever you do with your deck, and then these are the cards that explain how to use your deck and who you are and whatever else you want to put in there. We used to use the term no shuffle, and it was just really so that we didn't include those cards in the shuffle, right? And then we realized, as we spoke to more people and dealt with more decks, that the guidebook is a big thing. And so really we decided to rename no shuffle to guidebook. But also from the deck info page, if you have guidebook cards, you can click on the guidebook and it opens up the guidebook card. So the guidebook becomes part of your selling tool. People can read your guidebook cards. Now, there are some examples, and this might be you, because certain coaching cards, the secret sauce is in the guidebook and not necessarily in the cards, right? It depends where your value is. So we need to provide a mechanism to let you control, because right now, if it's the guidebook, it's available to people to read for free outside of purchasing it. And there are certain decks where that would be the opposite situation, right? I don't know if that makes sense to you. So we need to provide you the ability to say, this is the guidebook, but this is the public guidebook, and this is the guidebook you get when you buy the deck, right? So that's what the guidebook is for. I think the guidebook's going to become more prominent and stronger as we go, because as soon as we've given it the name guidebook, and the amount of questions and interest about it has gone up way more than the no shuffle stuff, right? So what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, you can. Oh, yeah, I know. So when you're choosing cards, you know, when you bring up the selector from the bottom of the screen and you choose cards, all the cards are there. It seems obvious to me now that we should want to like have two different sections of cards, the regular deck and the guidebook, because people get confused that the guidebook is included in a shuffle, and it's not. What happens is all the cards are in a row, and wherever your guidebook cards are, they stay there, and everything else shuffles and then gets put back in that order. So if your guidebook is at the end of the deck, you don't notice it because it's at the end of the deck. And you don't, other people, because it's at the beginning, think it's being shuffled, but it's not. And so it makes sense to me that you would have a way to look at just the cards or just the guidebook. And you wouldn't never really need to look at both at once, right? Because you're doing one task or the other. And that's not there. But as soon as you make guidebook a first-class citizen, I guess is the way I think of it, it starts commanding more features and more authority in the app. Yeah. So
practically for me, I have one card that has 11 sides, because that's the magic you can do. And that's my instruction card. Right. Presumably that should be my single guidebook card.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
So how would I set that in the
in the spreadsheet? In the spreadsheet, there's a column. There's a called card tags, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And you just put, for that one card only, you just put guidebook as the tag.
Okay.
And then you must have got somewhere you've got other tags, or you've used no shuffle, or I forget if I did it or you did it. I forget. If you remove the no shuffle and just have the guidebook for that one card, then you'll have a one card guidebook that's got all of that information in it. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. So the follow-up question to that is, where's the CSV export? I've lost it in the dashboard.
Okay, maybe I did.
I mean, you gave me a spreadsheet to start with, so maybe.
Yeah. So I basically I would never edit the CSV. I would edit the spreadsheet.
Right.
Because it's much easier to edit it, and then that basically, like the spreadsheet is your master record.
Yeah.
Every time you're ready to update it, you download it as a CSV and upload it to Deckable.
So it's not possible to download that from the dashboard.
From Deckable. You can, yes, you can.
It's on the about page.
On the about page. All right, thank you. I could probably find it from there. Thank you.
Oh yeah, there's the blank template there. But have you got the Google Sheets that should I share that again with you? I think
I have got one. I've updated it, or I've lost it, but it will be somewhere. It's just on one of the two.
Right. Yeah. No, I know the feeling. I used to do that, and then now I have like 500 spreadsheets. So I'm like, okay, I better be a bit more rigorous in my naming. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, did I answer everything? Yes, Sandra.
Are you good, James?
I'm good. Yes, I've got a couple more things,
Good.
but I think I'll send them by email.
Okay. So it looks like Z's gonna do my CSV, CVS.
Okay, cool.
CSV downloading thing for me. So if he ends up having to delete my deck, does that mean that all the typing that I've done in various places is also going to disappear? Or is
If
there a
you-
way just to delete the cards? Because the
if
the
you-
spreadsheet thing is gone already. I don't even know how any cards are populated.
It depends where you typed it. Where did you type it?
All of your little form things that you just kept.
Oh,
moving
card by
down, down.
card.
No, there was a. Just a sec. So how do okay, so if I just click on the tagline thing, there's a whole bunch of information there. But then I can do edit deck, and there it says deck information, name,
Right.
description, and status. So I filled all that in. If he deletes my deck
Oh.
to start all over again, is that stuff gone?
I could rescue it for you, or just copy it out of there right now.
Well, and I can do that. So that's what I should do then, because it will
Oh.
go away.
It
If he
depends what he
deletes-
does. If he creates a new deck, he might not delete your existing one, so you could just cut and paste it from there. If
can he
you've,
create
if
a
that's the
new-
only place if that's the only place you've written it, I would
Yeah,
cut and paste it and save it into a Google Doc so you don't lose it.
save it myself. Okay. And
Yeah.
how can he create a new deck with the same name?
You can do that. That's okay. And you can also add him to your team, or I can move the deck from one person to another if need be. He might just create a deck in his name, or or you can add him to your team and he can create on your behalf.
How do I add him to my team?
You go to view
Or-
deck,
Okay,
and then at the bottom of in the footer, there's an option called team.
just. So I haven't even found how to view the deck. So how do I get, okay, so I'm back in the thing of with the box cover. Is that where it is?
Yeah, I'm just there right now. Yeah, in the footer menu, you'll see that it says team, and then you go there and
It just says new deck. Plus new deck. It doesn't,
okay.
okay. If I use a little chevron on the side, I can find the team.
And your deck is
Oh, he's already there in mine.
I just added him a second ago.
Oh, okay, he's in there twice
But
now.
is Kimberly there deliberately or not? Is that
No, she's not. I
I
just
thought not.
gave
I'll
her
just go-
permission to use me as a team member, but because I got a request from her,
Oh, okay.
but I didn't.
I'll just take that out. So then you've
Okay.
got, because you shouldn't let people onto your team if they're not meaning to edit your deck, because then they can do stuff.
Okay.
Anyways,
well,
you've got,
how do I-
I've changed that now. So you've got, I don't need to be on your team. So I can get to it anyway. Okay.
Okay,
So
so
you've just got Z on your only team member now, right? So
okay, so he doesn't need my password then, or,
no, he doesn't. No.
okay,
Yeah.
great. And I'll copy everything away and then let him just do,
Yeah, he might need to. You might need to, if you want him to create a new deck, you might need to create the new deck in your name. You could do that and then let him, edit the new deck and keep the old one separate.
I don't even know how to create a deck because Tanya did it all.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay.
Should we maybe just try to fix this one?
Hey, yeah, you can do that. That's fine. I mean, but I can just create a new deck for you. So I just created a deck for you called 4Z, and you can, and then edit it, and he can edit that deck. You-
Okay, so,
If you just
How
go
do
and
I
look at
find-
your, if you just go to this,
hang on, let me get back to you. Okay, what have you done? Oh, that,
so I just
that,
shared that. If you just go to deckables.com/decks, you'll see 2 decks now. You've got your original deck and then one I just called 4Z, and then he can create a new deck and do it, you know, from scratch, and then you can copy over the thing.
Okay. okay. Great. Great, thank you.
Nick, just a quick one. Where do I create a spread? How do I create a spread from the desktop?
You just go to your deck and then you go to, from the header, it says custom spreads. It might say 0, or you just click on that and then the new spread button.
Okay, so go to my deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in my deck and it just says Aunt Lily's Tarot. Do I
Right,
edit
so-
it?
It should say so many selected spreads, so many custom spreads.
No.
I think if you go to view deck and then edit, there's like 2
If you
menus,
just,
so. Yeah,
My deck. Okay. Edit.
yeah, I have a hard time getting there too.
I'm glad.
I'm like, I'm looking at the wrong menu.
Yeah.
okay.
Tags, decoration, video, audio, links. Thank you. Note. Update deck.
Wait,
Because I can see spreads at the top, and it just gives you the ones that are standard.
Right, but if you look at it, it says 10 selected spreads.
Let's have a
You
look.
go-
I'm going into that.
You go
It
here.
just says spreads. Then I've got nothing else I can do. These are the public shared spreads.
Oh, you don't. Yeah, you don't want spreads from the top. You want from the top menu. You want your deck.
Deck. I've got my deck.
So I can let me share screen. I'll show you here.
Yeah. Thank you.
So here's your deck,
Yeah.
and you'll see the 10 selected spreads and 0 custom spreads.
Okay. So how
So
would
click on,
0 custom spreads?
and now you can create a new spread. I won't do it. I won't do it for you. Then you can do it yourself. But there, if
Yeah,
you just create a new spread, choose the cards, and then arrange everything and set it all up.
Do it that way. Okay, that's the screen I need. Okay, thank you.
yeah, I still can't see. Can I share my screen?
Sure.
Oh crap.
Can you see my screen?
Yes,
Okay, so like when I go up here to decks, I go to created,
Yeah.
and there's my deck.
Okay. So scroll
So
up.
there's edit here, or there's a
No,
menu. here, there's edit.
Just
here.
click on checklist,
Checklist. Okay,
and this takes you to the,
Yeah.
got it. I'm good now. And then you go here.
yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
thank you.
I was not quite sure what to call that, but anyway.
Okay, so it's checklist. All right, cool. Thank you.
Or you could have clicked to the, and if you clicked on the, yeah, no, yeah, that's right. Okay.
it's so interesting what, I got all that, but there's so much I did not get. Like, I did not understand. I had to look for my deck on a device other than my computer.
Well,
I mean, but I worked out the spreads and all that kind of stuff. It was like,
it depends. It's so challenging because we all start from different
places.
perspectives and assumptions, and So I've just learned at this point, I just listen to what people say. And if 10 people say the same thing, then go that way, right? Because it's much easier to go with what most people think is the right thing than to try and teach people to go a different way, right?
Oh, Nick, you could do card sorting in a UX context and find
Yeah.
out where those menu items might want to live.
Exactly. No, we definitely should do that. We need
That's
to
a
do
different-
some. Yeah, no, I know. Isaac's been bugging me to do more of that type of thing, right? But I think I felt to this point it's so obvious what we need to focus on to get those things out of the way. We haven't gone into that like more optional stuff. Because over the last few weeks, I've had enough stuff in my inbox telling me where the confusion was and do this and do that, right? So I think that'll ease a little bit now. But like James's comment about login from the app to the website is just a
With the
simple time
token?
saving.
Yeah, that's very smart. Yep.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. And yeah, look forward to seeing more and sharing more and, seeing people. If you haven't written a blog post about Deckable, that's a great thing to do. We appreciate that. Sharing it, or if you're not happy to share it yet, I'm always intrigued to hear why and what that is, because everyone has different tolerances and needs, and it's very interesting to kind of work through all of that. So because really, the whole essence of Deckable is having the hundreds of creators promoting things, right, and creating and finding more and all that kind of stuff. So anything that's stopping that is kind of top priority to resolve for me. So
Well,
awesome. Well, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
So good.
Yes.
Learn more every
See you
time.
guys, and I'll definitely talk to you, Tracy, about the discourse stuff.
Please reach out.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.